GSP said earlier this week that he wants to come back possibly this year. Are you guys talking to him at all?
Who did?
GSP.
Oh, yeah. I had heard that he said something like that. That's good. No, we haven't talked, but sounds like we will.
Maybe now you will.
Yeah.
Maybe MSG, Toronto, obviously.
Toronto makes sense. Toronto wouldn't be bad.
You mentioned that he'd like to fight the winner of Khabib and Conor. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. He gave up the 170-pound belt. He gave up the 185-pound belt. You know what I mean? It's like, no.
What is the situation?
Pick a division.
Why did this get you to sign? What was so big about it?
You know, Nate's probably putting the title aside. Nate's probably the second biggest fight that I can get. But you know, it would be Conor would be the biggest fight, obviously, and then it's Nate Diaz, who, you know, that in the lightweight division, that's the biggest fight I can get right now. Then, you know, Nate's a guy I've always watched fight. I've been a fan of his for a long time. I've always wanted to fight him. And Madison Square Garden is another part of it. I've always wanted to fight in Madison Square Garden. So much history there. You know, I fought a lot of places. That's one place I want to scratch off the list. So this fight just made sense. If the title fight was, if the UFC told me that, yeah, you're going to fight for the belt in 4 months, I could have waited 4 or 5 months. But the way it looks, you know, Conor and Khabib are going to fight towards the end of the year. Then I don't know what's going to happen, when the belt's going to be defended again. And you never know what's going to happen, man. So I don't want to wait 10 months. I want to stay busy, and this fight made a lot of sense to me.
Where would beating Nate Diaz, in your mind, be on your resume if you were ranking your best wins? Where would you put that one?
You know, he's just another guy who's been around a long time, a legend of the sport. You know, beating him after I beat Eddie Alvarez, I'm going back-to-back on the guys who I think are some of the biggest names in lightweight history. So that's just solidifying me as being amongst those guys, you know. When it's all said and done, you know, when I get my title shot, when I get the belt, when, like I said before, this is just all part of the legacy. This is what, you know, part of the reason I fight.
You get Conor McGregor, a guy who just might be the only guy at 155 pounds who could expose that striking weakness of Khabib Nurmagomedov and actually make him pay for it.
Yeah.
Okay? So he has the ability to land that shot that you don't see. He has the ability to counter you. He has the ability to move off that center line and land that fight-ending shot, unlike anybody in that division. And I don't think that Conor McGregor really is as appreciated as you'd think. He's appreciated because of the kind of stuff that he says and the star that he is. But as far as his fighting technique, he's just not appreciated in mixed martial arts like he should be. He's such a technical striker.
I agree.
You look at what he's done. I mean, are people forgetting that he just destroyed Jose Aldo in a mere 12 or 13 seconds? You know, the fact that he beat Max Holloway, the fact that he came back to beat Nate Diaz, not at 155 pounds, which was an option for him. But he said, no, I'm going to rematch you at 170 pounds, and I'm going to beat you. And he did that against a massive and dangerous style matchup in Nate Diaz. So this is a guy who is very dangerous. Does he have something to offer him on the ground? Probably not. For Conor, if he gets taken down, he's going to have to go into survival mode. Yeah. I mean, I think there's ways to counter Khabib. They're few and far between. There's certain things you can do, but you better be very high level and elite in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world. Conor isn't that yet. However, I think he could stop a few takedowns. He can get him tired, and he will not stop. We have to go back to that Chad Mendes fight where he was getting taken down. He was exhausted. He had a terrible knee injury. He was flying all over the place. One of the most brutal weight cuts you can make, cutting down to 145 pounds. And he went out there and got the result by finish. So he's a guy that's very determined. Now, he's got about $90 million in his bank account.
Yep.
That changes things a little bit.
Yeah,
How
a
is
little
his
bit.
mindset? How is his fighter mindset and fighter focus? I don't know. I still think that for Conor McGregor, he has a lot of fight in him. He has a lot to still prove to himself. I still think he loves this game. So I think he's the only guy who can knock out Khabib Nurmagomedov.
The next thing I'd fix is judging. The idea that you have win bonus and loss bonus, but you haven't fixed the fucking judging is goddamn crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. I just throw my hands up sometimes now. I can't even say anything anymore because I've had so many rants about it and they've gone nowhere and nothing gets done, and you still have people that literally have never applied an armbar in their life. Yeah. They've never taken a punch in the face in their life. They've never thrown a kick in competition in their life, and they're judging these fights. And they don't even train. I mean, you even forget competition. Just fucking have a love of the sport. They don't even have a love of the sport. They're just doing it as a job. It's crazy. It is crazy when you have a limited supply, or an unlimited supply of people who are martial arts experts, who would make fantastic judges all throughout the world.
That's in the third round, or when are they like doing damage? Like,
Can
they don't
you
know
Can you recognize the progression? Do you understand what a guy has to do to get out of the guard?
Yeah.
Do you understand what a guy has to do to escape from an arm triangle? If you don't, you have no fucking business putting these guys' livelihoods and their records and literally half their earning. You have no business. Half the fucking money. If you're getting 50 and 50, this motherfucker costs you $50,000 by not knowing anything. That is insane to me. That should be fixed. And why is there 3 judges? Why 3? Says who? Because boxing's always done it that way? What are we, fucking copycats? That doesn't make any sense. We should have 5. Have 5 judges.
Glory's been doing that.
You have a much greater chance of getting it right with 5 judges. Have 5 judges make these motherfuckers take tests. First of all, that's one thing. Second, why 10-point must system? What the fuck is that? That's some boxing shit. Why are you using a boxing scoring system for something that involves takedowns, submissions, leg kicks, punches, elbows, knees? Like, there's too many things. There's way too many things. It's a crazy system.
Maybe you should pull the trigger.
Pull